Gary Nelson was born and raised in Gainesville, Florida, among Florida Gators, God's chosen people. Gary survived boyhood and grew up to be a studious senior, and upon graduation became a hippie. Well, not really a hippie, but like many in 1969, Gary looked like one right out of high school.
This is Gary Nelson, WMBR News at 9:30.
Gary went to work in radio news. He did not burn his draft card and didn't go to Vietnam, but did cover the war over the war at home. There's Gary interviewing the mayor before being tear-gassed and arrested while covering anti-war riots in Gainesville. After 7 years in radio, Gary discovered three-piece suits and made the move to television.
This is Dateline Morning News with news editor Gary Nelson.
His first job at TV 20 in Gainesville.
Good morning. Forgive the short sleeves, but we are winging it this morning. How county commissioners have been handling or mishandling your money.
The men who go into the forest to battle these fires are taking their lives into their own hands. It's not nearly as easy as it looks.
Gary held every job the TV 20 newsroom had to offer, from reporter to news director, and in 5 years, he never served up a turkey.
Turkeys are in short supply here in Florida.
Okay, maybe one turkey. In 1981, Gary moved up in market size, but it's a wonder how.
I'm Gary Nelson.
This is his audition at TV 12 in Jacksonville. See the sweat on his brow? Gary was so nervous that by the time the tryout was over, the sweat was dripping off his nose.
We hope you have a good night and a
But
great
somehow he still got the job.
Good morning, Jacksonville.
Gary premiered WTLV's Good Morning Jacksonville, an instant hit and success in the morning.
This is TV 12's Action News Tonight with Gary Nelson.
Propelled Gary to the main anchor job at night.
Good evening. It's good to have you with us.
Gary anchored and reported the big stories for TV 12. He covered the 1984 Democratic and Republican conventions and was among the first reporters to use a gadget that would become the laptop computer. Gary traveled to Bourbon Street to probe the seamy underbelly of New Orleans in a story that cleared a wrongly accused Jacksonville professor. The Emmys would honor him for that. And in 1988, Gary left TV 12 and moved to a big city job complete with publicity photos. Yes, the newsplex beckoned.
Good evening. I'm Gary Nelson in for Rick Sanchez tonight.
While Gary sometimes pinch hit for 7 News, his main job
Hello, and welcome to Inside Report.
was a correspondent for WSVN's nationally syndicated program, Inside Report.
They're not pecking at my head, and aren't we glad?
Gary took us to bird ranches in Oklahoma, spring break at Daytona.
Would do nothing to embarrass themselves or their school. Well, most students.
And Hawaiian beauty pageants.
Hawaiian tropic girls are among the most beautiful in the world. There's not a dog in the pageant. Okay, so there is one dog in the pageant.
Along with the tabloid fare, Gary served up some serious journalism.
They searched your car? Yeah. Did they ask you if they could search the car? No.
Illustrated racial profiling and brutality by cops in L.A.
Did wear the KKK robe.
Yeah.
You
Pursued bigotry all over the country.
Yankee Jew boy lawyer.
I've been called that. And
by
worse.
people of authority in this community.
That's correct.
And for exposing racist cops and prosecutors in a Central Florida town, Gary received an Emmy. When Inside Report went to the place where syndicated shows go to die, Gary debuted Nelson's News.
Spying on workers. It's just un-American, you know?
Did you see that? He flushed twice.
Nelson's News satirized and parodied everyone and everything, like the release of Elvis Cologne.
You'll become the king. The women, why, they'll fall all over you. That's not the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life.
Gary, have you done something different to yourself?
No, darling, it's just this new cologne I'm trying.
Gary figured our immigration problem wasn't about the Haitians or Cubans, but those damn Yankees.
Travel papers, please. Disney World. All right, but just 3 days now. Don't make me have to come looking for you.
Nelson's News poked lots of fun at us, like reporters who insist on standing in the water when it rains.
Come to me. Come to me.
Okay, Rip, let's go back to Riptide.
Riptide, reporting live along with photographer Muddy Waters.
And Gary skewered local TV news.
The Queen, the Queen, the Queen. That's all we've heard about for a week.
For our fawning coverage of Queen Elizabeth's visit.
We interrupt this program for a royal report.
Queen Elizabeth and her party continue dining on board Britannia tonight. At this moment, they're having a second course of Oriental marinated frog legs. Asked what she thought of the frog legs, the Queen said, quote, "Tastes a lot like chicken."
For a royal report, Nelson's News received an Emmy. In '92, Andrew blew through our town along with winds of change for Gary's career.
Our top stories here on 6 Action News at noon. Good afternoon, Gary Nelson.
Gary moved to CBS, WCIX, later to become CBS 4, where for a decade he has practiced serious reporting.
With this huge amount of marijuana, I've got to tell you, we're cautioned by the Customs Service. Please, no smoking. I can report that thus far, yes, we have no bananas here at Miami City Hall's parking lot.
As we sit here in the Al Capone suite, that's what I understand,
In the historic Biltmore Hotel, I have to ask, how well did you know Al?
While Gary does have fun, he's always been aggressive in pursuit of the truth.
Are parents or vendors or contractors, are people not invited to come here and speak to the principal and go to the principal's office? I want to go to the principal's office. That's where I am going. You're welcome to come with me.
In a years-long series of reports,
The scandal goes far beyond what had been revealed.
Gary exposed a streak of rot in the Miami Police Department. Cops who allegedly planted guns, tampered with evidence, engaged in cover-ups.
Officers Jacobo, George Costello, Jesse Aguero, and Oscar Ronda were...
Gary named names.
11 cops accused in a broad conspiracy.
And all the cops he named have since been indicted and arrested.
It's a violent opposition to Aristide's return this weekend.
Gary covered the return of President Aristide to Haiti.
FAA inspectors may have gone easy on Value Jet.
Heartbreak in the Everglades. Ilion and the fallout.
Here comes the tear gas.
Here comes the tear gas?
Here comes the tear gas.
Gary's photographer was overcome, but Gary?
I have a gas mask on here. I hope I've got it on correctly because the air is heavy with the tear gas there. You see it?
Yes, yes.
In Los Angeles,
Al Gore, tomorrow night, will take this podium.
Gary covered Al Gore's nomination for president. And in Washington,
The United States Supreme Court has effectively delivered a defeat to Al Gore tonight.
he covered the first presidential election ever decided by the Supreme Court. If Gary is fortunate in career, he is blessed with family. Sister Kay, brothers Butch and Ronnie, big brother and great friend Jim, his dear mom Delma.
This is Niles Nelson. Niles is 1 year old today, and
his son Niles, of whom he is very proud, and Gary's wife, Mary Jane, the most wonderful woman in the world. For Gary Nelson, it has been a great life and broadcast ride. 32 years of reporting the news, and still going strong.
Gary, this is your former colleague, John Dutzman, reporting from lovely New York City. And in my hands, I have some chicken salad. Why? Well, you, my friend, are the chicken salad master. You can take any crap that the desk and the producers give you and turn it into this. I can think of no higher compliment to pay a colleague in this business. Gary, you deserve it all.
I absolutely demand to be heard. Why am I not being heard? Officer, I don't understand this. I have a constitutional right to speak, and I will speak. Gary, congratulations. What a great award for a great guy, and all the best of luck in the future. See you later. What's this?
You know you're one of my idols. I mean, from way back when you would sit in a chair up there and do Nelson's News without ever leaving the room, and every story was actually watchable. It was good. Silver Circle's a big, big honor, and I'm very proud to be part of yours. Mwah! Congratulations.
Gary's been known as the Reverend among some of his friends here, but it's more like the Irreverend because he's the first one to poke holes in somebody's press release or the pat statements you sometimes get. An aggressive reporter, a great friend, and most deserving of this honor. Gary, congratulations.
When Oprah asked if she could call me Angie, I said, oh no, only Gary Nelson can call me Angie, and only you truly can call me Angie. I love you very much. Congratulations. You're the best.
Gary, you set the standard for the newsroom. You very much deserve this prestigious award. Congratulations.
One of my favorite memories of Gary Nelson was the time he came over to my house to watch the Tennessee-Florida game a couple of years ago. And every time they showed the opponent's cheerleaders, Gary would shout, "Harlots!" I just thought that was the funniest thing. So now whenever I see the opponent's cheerleaders, when the Gators play in honor of Gary, I yell, "Harlots! Look at those harlots!" Congratulations, Gary.
I've never liked Gary because he's louder than me at every news conference. So
that says a lot.
Told you he was irreverent.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Larry Edwards, wonderful person and broadcaster who gave me my first job in broadcast news 30 some odd years ago and gave me more than one second chance along the way. And gosh knows, don't we all need those. Rafael Murciano, you are the most talented man I know. Thank you very much. Dave Game, thank you for suggesting that I might be worthy of this recognition. To share this stage tonight with Wayne and Connie and Ed and Rodney, Michael Putney. My gosh, when I was a little boy watching television, Michael Putney on TV, thinking, golly, when I grow up, I want to be just like him. And here I am, sharing this stage with Michael Putney tonight. My heavens. My colleague at CBS, Dan Rather, and I have well, I've talked to Dan Rather at least once or twice, but we share a wonderful person, educator and journalist in common, Professor Hugh Cunningham, who taught Dan at Sam Houston State University, and who I later covered when he was an administrator at the University of Florida. And Professor Cunningham told all of those who he taught, and he taught everyone with whom he came in contact. He told us all, never let the bastards scare you. Well, I hope that I have not let the bastards scare me, or at least when they have, I hope I have not let it show. Shannon High, Steve Malden, CBS, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to continue doing what I do. On the worst day, I can imagine nothing I would rather do. And thank you, Board of Governors, ladies and gentlemen, for this wonderful honor. Thank you very much.